The Sacred Mass, Chapter 47, Peace for the Time Being. At sunrise, Allan returned home and he finished checking up on Maisie and then he went to see his brother Liam. He found Liam sleeping on Gregory's lap. Allan frowned and then he went to see about the Arch Magus, and sure enough, Allan and Caron were still there. And Marina returned home after escorting Julian and Hope back to their respective houses. And she found Alec in the kitchen making breakfast. He had a dour look on his face, so she naturally asked, "What's the matter?" "I just read Mincy's note, and Liam got super drunk and he tried to jump off a cliff. And he's like a big kid, it's no wonder a store guy is always fussing about him," said Alec, sighing. Gregory started to come downstairs after smelling the food and he said, "Liam said he wanted to eat the food in his bedroom and he told me that Allan's mother tried to kidnap him in Sunshine." "Son of a, did he kill her?" asked Alec. Sophina got to her, and the woman knew that Liam lowers his guard when he smells roses, so she was able to cast a sleep spell on him, explained Gregory, and she must have been stalking us for weeks, and it is a good thing the tourist season is almost over. "Here are Liam's pancakes, and here's a syrup," said Alec. "Go feed him." Gregory ate the toast with butter, and he was not in a particularly hungry mood, and as he approached the door to his brother's bedroom, he heard crying. And he placed a hand on the doorknob and Liam stopped crying, and then just as quickly the sobbing resumed, and Liam was wrapping bedsheets with his back turned to the door. "Liam, pancakes," said Gregory shyly. Liam turned around with tears falling down his lovely cheeks, and Gregory took a small bite of the pancake and he offered it to his brother. Liam smiled shyly after taking a small bite and he said, "This is really good. I don't remember much about last night." "What is the last thing you remember?" asked Gregory. "I had gotten a wine bottle for Helmer and we were role-playing and it was our wedding night, and I was pretending to be a shy virgin," said Liam chuckling. "The role doesn't suit me, but I wanted to play, and I had a tense afternoon and Helmer was nearby. He's a good friend. I like him very much." "Did you give him wobbly legs again?" asked Gregory, smiling benevolently. "Yeah, he reminds me a lot of my favorite bunkmate. And he claimed to be a magus, but all he could do were parlor tricks. And Grandpa decapitated him, probably with my father's approval. But I'm not mad, I'm just furious. Did I say or do anything stupid?" asked Liam. "You say some very foolish things," said Gregory, putting the plate on the table. "Hey, you wanted to jump off a cliff to test out your new wings." "Oh dear, I better stay sober from now on. And can you hand me my violin? I want to play it a bit," said Liam, yawning. Downstairs, Allan, Caron, and Helmer had gone to eat breakfast, and Liam spent the entire morning indoors. Peter visited around mid-afternoon, and he heard from Sophina about the incident involving Liam, and Liam smiled shyly, and he said, "Do you need anything from me, Peter?" "Do you need anything?" asked Peter, sitting nearby. "Some peace of mind. Do you have any to spare?" asked Liam. Changing the subject, Peter said, "Your birthday is coming up. Do you want cake, a big party, or just a small get-together?" "I am not in a celebrating type of mood. Ask me tomorrow and then we will see," said Liam, yawning. "I got a letter from Sylvia and she liked the dress you sent her," said Peter. "That's good," said Liam, stretching his elegant limbs. "And what do you want to do today?" asked Peter. "I want to practice flying," said Liam. "Sure, I was going to take Julian out as well," said Gregory. And Liam got out of bed and he got dressed, and Gregory followed behind him along with Peter. And together with Julian, Gregory and Liam did some wing flapping exercises, and from time to time, Liam would look over his shoulder and his red eyes flashing. Because he's paranoid. By the end of the workout, Liam said to the ocean, "Sunshine's going to have Allan's child, and I'm telling you, Ocean, because I'm not allowed to tell anyone in the household." Peter, Gregory, and Julian were nearby, so they happened to hear Liam telling the good news to the Ocean, and naturally Julian mentioned it to his best friend Leda, and Leda told her mother, who was the biggest gossip of all of Wallen. And Allan found out the following day, and a gossip newspaper had made a story about the Dragon of Wallen expecting her first letter. And it also mentioned the name of the father, a so-called psycho Allan. Allan ran to his house and he said to his father, holding the newspaper, "Is this true?" I'm going to be a grandpa, said Helmer, surprised, and then he added in a weepy tone, I did not want kids, and I don't want grandchildren either. And for the rest of the day, Helmer spent it hiding under the bed, and he only came out of his hiding spot to do his workout routine or to eat. Allan went to look for Sunshine, and he found her wrapped up in Liam's arm, sitting in the rocking chair, and Sunshine buried her face into Liam's shoulder. How many months? Asked Allan tentatively. 2, said Sunshine. I do not know if it is a lot or a few, and normally I would have laid an egg, but I suppose if it is fertilized, the body must be taking longer to develop it. Are you planning to quit your job? Asked Allan thoughtlessly. I don't have plans, Allan. I do not even know if I'm going to want the shawl or not. And for now, I just want to pretend that it is not there, and I want to continue with my routine, with the exception that I now need to watch my diet, explained Sunshine, irritated. What are you going to name the kid? Asked Allan. I don't care. You decide, barked Sunshine. Just. Sunshine started crying, and it was around the time she spent 20 minutes a day non-stop crying. And Allan had always been careful with his girlfriends, and with Sunshine he had been careless. He was far too caught up in his own hand with the problem he had created for himself in the form of Caron and Gregory's marriage. Allan left Sunshine alone, and he went with his sister Marina to furnish Sunshine's room with the nursery-related furniture. And after debating since it shows the color of gold, the two then went to buy baby clothing, and while looking at the items, Marina asked, Have you thought of a name, Allan? I don't know, Marina, said Allan, sighing. Do you think Sunshine wants a ring? I think she will bite your head off if you appear with a wedding ring. And he will probably continue with his career, so you might probably be the mom. And Sunshine is the main breadwinner of the house, even more so than father. And with his wife's magic and science, she has been able to restore eyesight and even the cripple now walk. And people are starting to come from all over the continent to see the healing dragon of Wallen. Marina, winter is almost here, and I worry about what other big change is coming around the corner. And he thought that things were going to be smooth sailing from here on out, said Allan sadly. At least they're not bad changes, and our home is pretty full, and Daddy's home, and Licia and my nephew will have a playfellow around the same age, said Marina. And by, do you think Sunshine wants a baby shower? She's still in the denial stage, and she wants to pretend that she's not with child, said Allan thoughtfully. Once she gets into the anger stage, you're gonna be walking on eggshells all day, said Marina, laughing. Very funny, Six, said Allan without much enthusiasm. And what do you think the baby's going to look like? Asked Marina. I don't know, Marina. I can only pray that she's born of sound body and mind, said Allan, crossing his hands in prayer position. The winter months came and everything returned to normal, and Allan spent the entire winter months baby-proofing the house, and he would also go to church with his sister to pray for the health of the new baby. And a cold front brought snow into Wallen, and Sunshine had already made peace with her situation, and she started to attend Lotte's Mommy and Me classes with Allan, and she also attended her AA meetings, and during the first few days, Sunshine was trembling like a leaf. And once the new classes got integrated into her work routine, she became more at ease. And from time to time, she would break out of her routine to look for a proper birthing spot. And she had become permanent from her last experience, and she knew that there was a bounty in Otan asking for her child. And due to Allan's royal blood, her child could now claim the empty throne. And for the peace of mind, Caron and Gregory worked as her bodyguards whenever she went out of the house. And during one of those escort missions, Gregory asked, Do you think I could lay an egg like you, Sunshine? Not really, said Sunshine, shrugging her shoulders. Your body's closer to those of mammals. You're going to give birth to your fashion when... What? said Gregory, worried. From the back, explained Sunshine. Phew, said Gregory. And give it about a year till you reach maturity, said Sunshine. What? asked Caron, shocked. Our mother's seedring was different, and she had both a uterus and a cloaca, and this allowed her to give birth and to lay eggs at the same time. And this is how she was able to have so many offspring, explained Sunshine. So, our mother really did give birth to more than 700 children, asked Gregory, shocked that had not been an exaggeration. Yes, this is not assuming that the old crone didn't produce more offspring while I slept, mused Sunshine. And the fact that Gregory existed was proof that Sunshine remained fertile until her death. "Oh, that's wonderful, Sunshine. So this means that I will be able to give Caron the baby he wants," said Gregory happily. "You would do that for me, Gregory?" asked Caron happily. "I could give you a child after I give birth to this one," suggested Sunshine. "I am not opposed to having another kid, and I came from a big family and I don't like being alone." "Good, then I will have one from you as well," said Caron, enamored with the idea. "Yes, whatever makes you happy, Caron," said Gregory jealously. Aside from the new development with Sunshine, the rest was as it should be. On a frozen winter morning, Liam was feeling particularly cozy and he had not gotten out of the bed. Instead, he was roosting. A Helmer passed by and Liam raised the bed sheets to beckon him within. A Helmer got inside the bed with his back turned to Liam and he closed his eyes to pretend to be asleep. And Liam wrapped himself around Helmer's thin waist. And Liam hugged Helmer closer to his heart, and his warmth started making Helmer feel all giddy again. And his feet started shifting left and right, stroking one another in anticipation. And Liam felt the motion of the small, delicate feet. And Liam whispered, "Are you in need of a helping hand?" And Helmer nodded in response, and Liam passed his free hand under Helmer's nightgown and into his undergarments. And his long, dexterous violinist fingers made quick work of the little Arch Magus. "And did it feel good? Did you like it?" asked Liam. "It was perfect," said Helmer, closing his eyes. The two dogs solved all of the afternoon, and every 4 hours Allan would check out to see how the lovers were doing. And each time he opened the door, the two were peacefully sleeping. And around dinner time, Allan came to see if Liam was awake or if he wanted a bite to eat. And Allan saw Liam devouring Helmer's passion, and Helmer was sitting up with his back against the headboard, and he had his hands to his mouth to muffle his moans of pleasure. And he looked at the time and he saw Alec watching him, and he started trembling and crying. And Liam felt Helmer's passion diminishing, and Helmer left the bed and he hid himself beneath him. And Liam looked in the direction of Alec and he said to his little brother, "Can I help you with something?" "I'm sorry, Liam, I ruined the mood. My apologies," said Alec, grinning. "My bad, brother. Princess Helmer doesn't like to be watched. Apologize to her as well," said Liam with a dictatorial tone, the same he used when dishing out orders to his knights. Alec rolled under the bed and he could not help but note the cleanliness of it. And Marina was always fastidious with the hygiene, especially under the bed. And since the floor was cold, Helmer was trembling like a leaf. "Princess, help me," said Alec in a cold, conciliatory tone. "Please don't look at me," said Helmer, crying. "And they always watching I was with that woman, and instead of helping me, they laughed at me. It was so humiliating. I don't ever want to feel like that again." "I promise to not from now on," said Alec, petting Helmer's black hair. Helmer continued to sob. "Do you want breakfast for dinner?" asked Alec, trying to change the subject. "Yes, bring me pancakes," said Helmer. "And I want dinner for dinner, so bring me steak and an order of fries and I also want some ginger ale. And after I finish, have Allan find me a piece of cheesecake. The one I had yesterday was to die for," said Liam, ordering his food. Alec brought the orders, and he placed the pancakes just outside of Helmer's range, and the smell of food eventually caused Helmer out of his hiding spot. And Alec left Liam alone with Helmer, and Alec sat down on his bed, and he was quite pensive about everything, and he felt bad about making little Princess Helmer cry. And Alec left his comfortable bed, and he went to hide under it, and he looked to his left, and he saw his favorite single mother. "I feel a lot better right now," said Alec as he rested under his own bed. "Safe," said Mincy, smiling. "Yes, safe and cozy," said Alec, agreeing with Mincy. "Is the baby asleep?" Mincy nodded in response. "I am in the mood for something different," said Alec, and he started to roll out of the bed when Mincy tied her tentacles around his arms and around his neck. And back in the other room, Liam and Helmer were sitting together in the rocking chair, and from time to time, Liam would say, "And don't be afraid, I'm here for you. I love you. And how am I doing today? You haven't noticed anything wrong with me?" Liam asked at a certain point. "I can tell that you are doing just fine, great even, and you are a marvelous piece of artwork, Liam. You are simply perfect," said Helmer, smiling. "You flatter me," said Liam, chuckling while absent-mindedly fiddling with Helmer's raven hair. "It is no flattery, and with me taking care of you, you can easily live for another 700 years with minimal loss of vitality," said Helmer, kissing Liam. Liam took in a deep breath, and his breath came out rather cold, and Helmer trembled, and he asked, "My apologies." "So you also think I'm old," said Liam dourly. Helmer gave a nervous laughter in response. One gets a few gray hairs and they already start planning your funeral. Barkley and Karina were carrying his lover. And Sunshine says I'm 38, but I thought I was 41, but she's a dragon expert, so what do I know? Tell me, Princess Elmi, why would a perfect being like me be physically attracted to you? Asked Liam while going with Helmer to the bathroom. Well, because I'm just so happy for the attention, said Helmer, blushing. I haven't much to offer aside from experience. I am an ugly, disgusting, wretched, filthy little toad, and maybe I casted a love spell on you without knowing. Or maybe it is just the Florence Nightingale syndrome. I never heard of that illness, said Liam, putting Helmer down to start the bath. And he turned his back in order to look for a bath bomb or two. It is just something that happens. A nurse falls in love with the patient, and the patient grows to love the nurse. And maybe that's what happened while I looked after you while you recovered from your surgery. Anyone else who had looked after you, it is biology and nothing more, said Helmer shyly. My grandfather, he too was obsessed with my biology, and after I turned 10, he would put me into uncomfortable situations, displaying my perfection to the world. And my grandpa was famous for being an inveterate, and his sole heir was a sick and delicate crown prince, and so to do away with her reputation, he paraded me, his grandson, like a stud horse, to lure inmates to repopulate our empty castles, and when I would escape, he sent the guards to force me into submission. Because of him, said Liam. I could have dealt with the pain as long as I had him, said Liam, trembling at the memory. And when I awoke, I met Roland and Jeffrey and their wives and kids. And there was also 2-year-old Alec, and Cedric was there playing doctor. And after my miraculous return, Father started with his whole world peace shit, and he became super religious too. And there was Liam cleaning up the messes that he created. And aside from the new pay raises, the core life was the same as before, with the stupid parties, the politics, the intrigues, the assassination plots, and I'm not going to be strong forever. What is going to happen when I become old and decrepit? Alright, that's the end of that one. Bye-bye.